check out this unboxing real quick here of brand new. This pump has been around for a while. It's a EF7000 diaphragm pump. It pushes 7 gallons a minute, and it actually does 7 gallons a minute with about 250 foot of hose. It's a 1/2 inch inlet and a 1/2 inch outlet. The Viton valves and a Sanapreme diaphragm. They can shoot everything from Roundup to bleach. Without even maintaining this, you can get at least 6 to 8 months out of it. We've already popped the seal on it. They make a few different varieties. Alright, let's check out what comes in the box. You got your idiot sheet. If you don't know how to hook this up, you probably need to get a different job. Give me 1 second to take this out with put this on pause for a second. Okay, there we go. As you can see, they got everything from 1 gallon to 7 gallon a minute. This company, Everflow, has another pump, what they call a bleach pump, which is a waste of money. What they did is they put a sensor here that detects any moisture, and then a little light LED goes off to tell you that there's moisture inside the pump under the diaphragm. So basically, but the problem is you can only get that in a 5.5 and a 5.5. Anything below the 7, we tested all these out, and I hate to say it, but all of them are junk. The only one that's worthwhile is a 7 gallon a minute. Now this thing will pull about 25 amps, 23 amps max continuously. So you need a real thick gauge wire, and you need a really long draw battery. Okay, what else do we need to know here? You can see the gauge of the wire is pretty thick. You got your 25 amp fuse right there. These are tested from the factory. Actually, they run water through these and make sure that they pump, and they pump like they're supposed to, so there's actually water in here. So don't get excited when you get a new pump and there's a little bit of water in there. There is a micro switch on the top here. It's a Honeywell. So this thing, don't worry if your pump is cycling, go it's not a big deal. Trust me, this switch will outlast 10 of these pumps. So there's no wear and tear on this switch like everybody thinks. I've actually, trust me, just trust me when I tell you that this micro switch will outlast 10 of these pumps. Okay, so if it does cycle on and off like it's supposed to, it's no big deal. If you get excited about it, you can take, now at your discretion, you can take an Allen key, and there's a little screw at the top here. Okay, and you can tighten it just like a quarter a turn, or you can reduce it a quarter a turn. You got to really know what you're doing if you're going to mess with this Allen key at the top of this right here. Okay, this adjusts the actual diaphragm spring that actually in turn hits the switch and cycles the motor. Okay, so if you turn it this a quarter of a turn inward, it's going to run a lot longer, but you generate heat because the motor is going to run without kicking off, and you can draw more amperage, and you can actually burn up the wiring or the motor. So there's a real fine line between doing it right and messing it up really bad. Now, the most important thing is that you're going to be drawing, 23 to 25 amps. So basically, you're going to want to have like a 10 gauge or lower. I like to go with like around a 6 gauge wire, and a real short run. So you want your battery like less than 4 foot from the motor. So if you go down to like a 4 gauge, 5 gauge, you want to be really short, right? You don't want to have a long run. You're going to pull a lot of amps with a longer run, and you're going to generate a lot of heat. Okay, and you can burn up the motor, smoke the battery, smoke the wiring, do all kinds of bad things. All right, now don't use a regular car battery. I would get a long draw marine deep cycle battery. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on the batteries, because as long as you got like an RV marine deep cycle battery and you spend about $150 on it, $140, you're right where you need to be. All these other batteries are, you know, really not needed unless you're going to run. You want to clean, like you can actually run these pumps all day long. We had a job that we were on a whole entire month, and I ran this thing 8 hours a day for the whole entire month. But we had 4 batteries set up, and they were bigger batteries. They cost about $240 a pop, and they did a tremendous job. I mean, they ran all day. Hooked them up right, you know, did it right, and this kept going all day long. We were washing buildings and roofs, so and it didn't fail. So we had 2 of these and 4 batteries, so 2 batteries apiece, and they were a real high-end battery. So as long as you do it right, everything's fine. If you look here, it's 12 volt. Here it says 23 amps. Okay, the flow says 7.0 with 7 gallons a minute, and the maximum pressure is 60 psi. And if you just adjust this a little bit, you can get 70 out of it. Now the problem with this is it's 12 volt, and the hydraulic dimensions of this and restriction, the hydraulic restriction, which is the flow of, you know, the pressure with the water or whatever chemical you're using, or water or whatever. The combination, there's an equation that goes with this. So basically, if you're using, you know, if you push this motor just a little bit to like 65, 70, and your wire's not right, you can pull too much amperage and smoke the motor and smoke smoke anything, the battery, the wire, or the combination of everything. So you really got to be careful with all this, guys. So it tells you, yeah, it tells you here, don't use any flammable stuff like that. So also, I would not go over 300 foot of hose. Okay, so you got quite a bit of information there. If you want to, you can read through this pamphlet. It basically tells you a little bit about what's going on there and what I talked about. So hope that helps you guys out. Have a good one. Actually, and if you want to find these at a better price, I'm not going to say any names, but the local company here, they're charging a little bit overpriced. So if you want to get these, you can call me, get a little bit of discount, or you can find one other store online, which I'm not going to say. I'm not going to give it away free. Anyway, have a good one.